Hey Crafty fam, it's Alex Vanover and welcome back to my craft room. And today for day number 8 of Craft for the Curve, we're going to do something a little bit different. So you guys probably know that the 15-day craft challenge is there to help you guys have something entertaining to do while you're stuck at home and in quarantine. So I'm going to recommend that you organize your files during quarantine. And I know that's not the most fun project ever on the planet, but it's really going to help you in the future. And a lot of you have asked for my advice on this recently, so I'm just going to turn it into something that I suggest. So first we're going to start by organizing the files from the Amazing Craft Bundle. That is an Amazing Craft Bundle 6. It's an awesome bundle that has a lot of great things in it, and I know that these large bundles are what overwhelm a lot of you guys when it comes to organizing. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to organize this bundle, and then I'm going to show you what I do, because I am not going to recommend that you organize your files the way that I organize mine, because I'm a content creator. So I come at my content from a different angle than you do. So I'm going to show you both approaches so that you kind of get an idea of what I recommend, but it also gives you another idea of the way that I work. Before we get going, I also want to remind you that organizing your bundles and organizing your files is personal preference. So if you see some things in this video that you would organize differently or that you don't agree with, that is perfectly fine, because this is all up to you. So just feel free to change it. Don't worry about sticking to like a rigid organization system, because you need to make it workable for you. So think about the way that you think and the way that you search and go from there. So I've already bought the Amazing Craft Bundle 6, and you'll see that it's $24, but I purchased it for $21.60 because I use my account balance so that I get 10% off of everything that I buy from Design Bundles. So I highly recommend that you add store credit to your account so that you can use it to pay for your stuff and get a little bit of a discount. So this is one of those really big files that's going to take a while to download. So we're just going to work on the designs today, because the fonts and organizing those is going to be a whole nother video. So that's going to take a couple of minutes to download, just because it's a really, really big bundle. So after the zip file downloads, you want to go into your downloads and extract it, because you guys probably know these are so many files that they have to be put into like a zipped file. So you have to extract them before you use them. So I'm just going to right click on the Amazing Craft Bundle, or wait a minute, out in the folder, I'm going to right click and click Extract All. Now I'm going to browse, and I'm going to put this file where I put all my other files. So on my desktop, you'll see that I have very few files on my desktop. I have a file for crafts, I have a file for my business, and I have a file for YouTube videos. So in craft files, I have very few files again. But when I get into SVGs, I have a lot more. So this is where I store all my SVG files. So I'm actually going to create a folder for this. So in my SVG files on my computer, I'm going to right click and select New. And I'm going to put this in a separate folder because I want it to be separate from my organization system, so I can explain it to you guys later. I do the initials in the front of my folders are where I got that file. So I do DB for Design Bundles and then Amazing Craft Bundle. But don't worry about that, because like I said, that's my weird system that I use, but that's not what I recommend you do. So I'm going to double click that bundle and click Select Folder so that all my files extract there. And so this is going to be another thing that's going to take some time, because as you can see, there are 5,366 items from this bundle. So that is massive. So my computer's pretty fast, so it's going to go pretty quickly. But if yours is slow, just give it time and take your time. So after your files finish extracting, you want to make sure that you're in your SVGs with your new extracted files. If you're still in your downloads and in your zipped folder, you're not going to be able to see this. So the first thing I'm going to do is delete these Mac OS X files. I've never figured out what these are for, and they can cause problems. So I don't know if that's the best advice ever, because I don't exactly know what those files are for, but I have never used them. So I go ahead and get rid of them right from the very beginning. And then when I open up this file, this is where you start to see crazy amounts of like folders and stuff like that. And this part can be really, really overwhelming. So here's where we're going to kind of get into the weeds of this process. And what I'm going to recommend that you do is you're going to open each file, and you're going to kind of check out like what's, what's in this file. So it looks like this is a 4th of July file. It's got monograms and all these other files. And it looks like each file has like a different format for each image. So we're going to go back out to our amazing Craft Bundle 6 folder. And the first thing that I'm going to do is create a new folder and put 4th of July. Now, you can totally change this where you can do, seasons and then holidays and then some bigger categories and then go into smaller. But I am always like, when I search for files, I look for things very specifically. So I am looking for 4th of July designs. So that's why I am going this route. But like I said, you can do broad categories and then go into more like niched ones or more like narrowed down, but I'm just going to keep mine in July 4th. Then I'm going to copy this folder. I'm going to put it in 4th of July and click paste. So another option that you have within each folder, if you are a seller of items, so if you create custom items and you need to be concerned about whether or not your items have commercial license, within each folder, you are welcome to do a personal and a commercial folder if that would help you know what designs you can sell and what designs you cannot sell. Because I get pretty much everything from either Design Bundles or Creative Fabrica. Most things that I buy have a commercial license and I never have to worry about that. Plus, I don't take orders like that, so it's not as relevant for me. But this is another one of those areas where you just want to make sure that you do things that are going to work best for you. So just take everything I say with a grain of salt and customize it for you. So when I go back into the Amazing Craft Bundle, I'm going to delete this folder because I already have it sorted. So the next thing, there are 7 bow templates and tutorials. So I'm going to go back into my main folder and make a new bundle for faux leather bows, because that's what I would be searching for. If I was searching for a design that would fit into this category, it would be faux leather bows. So I'll copy it, paste it in here, and then go back and delete it. Another tip, when you don't have things all categorized into subfolders, one thing that will help you is if you go into the bottom corner of your screen and you click the like the little picture button, it's going to allow you to see any of like the PNGs or the JPEG images, because the SVG files are these that look like the Internet Explorer logo. So you're not going to be able to see those unless you have an SVG viewer on your computer. So I usually view my designs as PNGs and then I upload the SVGs. But that brings me to my next tip, and that is that I would not go into Design Space and upload every single one of these things into Design Space. Now, I guess you can spend the time to do that, but for me, I search for my file specifically, and then I upload into Design Space. I just think it's a big waste of time and really unnecessary, because I think that the folders on my computer are easier to search than Design Space itself. So that's up to you. Another question that I know you're going to ask, is there a way to mass upload items into Design Space? And as of right now, as of April 2020, there is not a way to do that. So that's why it's so tedious to do it, and that's why I don't recommend that you do it. I recommend that you figure out what file you're going to use first, and then go back and put things in Design Space. What was I doing? I'm trying to talk and do things at the same time. So, what are these? Oh, those are cute. So I'll probably just call those teddy bear. So I'm going to go back out to my folder and I'm going to copy it. And then once I get into my file, I'm actually probably going to start a new bigger folder called Animals. And then inside my animal folder, I'm going to make a new folder for teddy bears. And that's one of those situations that if I want to do a specific project relating to animals, it's pretty likely that I would look in this animals folder. So you just kind of have to know how your own brain works because it's going to be different for every single one of you. Oh, so here's like animal paw print, animal train. I don't know what animal train is. That's cute. I don't know if I would ever be looking for that, but like baby deer would go into animal. So I can go ahead and I'm going to click my mouse and then drag. And then you can also press, I think it's Control and then click again. And I can copy all of these files at once. So I just use Control C. Then when I go into my animals folder, I can do Control V to paste them all. So now I just took care of 4 folders at once. So once you kind of get your system down, it does go a little bit faster. I know it can be really, really tedious in the beginning and kind of drive you nuts, but after a few minutes, it gets a little bit better. So we'll go ahead and delete those folders so that we don't sort them again. Bless this home and all who enter. That's cute. So let's go back and copy this folder. And I think I'm going to call this is going to be one of those main folders. I'm going to call this home/family. Because those are all kind of similar files, you know, files like Home Sweet Home and Family and all that stuff. So that's what I'm going to do for that one. And then delete. And remember that if you buy from Design Bundles specifically, you always have access to your purchase folder. Always. So you're never going to be in a place where you can't get a hold of your files. So if you accidentally delete a folder that you needed, it's not a big deal. Ooh, that's pretty. Okay, so this is a geometric frame. So I use a lot of these. And so I'm going to call this file floral frame, or this like main folder, floral frame. And I can add a lot of other frames into this one, because I use those quite a bit. Camping bucket, that's fun. So we'll go back in here and click copy. And then in the main folder, we'll do a camping section. So now once you set these up, you don't have to like go back and create as many because you're going to have a lot of them already. And then I recommend after you're done with the file that you're working on, then go back and fit the rest of the files you already have into these same categories. So that way, you know, you've got everything organized in the same sort of system. Because if you apply multiple systems, it's going to get really, really confusing. So I'll go ahead and delete this. Ooh, this is a tough one. Do not ring doorbell. So maybe for this one, and then I see like farmer's market vertical sign, farmhouse fixer upper style. Let's do a signs category. That's going to hold a lot of different things. And then you can go in here and you can even get more custom. So we'll go ahead and paste all these files in here. And then maybe we'll do another subfolder called farmhouse signs, since they're all kind of similar. And then what you can do is just click and drag and drop into that folder, and you don't even have to go in there. So the do not ring doorbell is kind of a general sign, and then here's a section for farmhouse signs. So that's going to make it easier on me in the future when I go to look for what I want to work on, and I already have this category done. Oh, we can delete this one too. So flamingo with flowers, what does that look like? Ooh. Interesting. So that kind of reminds me of a mandala, and that's probably where I would go ahead and put that one, just because that's the most likely reason. No, actually, I changed my mind. Let's put this one under animals. Ooh, and then let's do animal mandalas, so we can get even more specific, because I know that cute little paw print would work here too. And then we'll take the animal paw print and drag it into mandalas and then rename it paw print. See how that works? So it's just kind of a flexible system that is going to make things as efficient as possible. So before I get into my final tips and showing you my organization system, I'm going to speed up the rest of this video while I organize the rest of these files. All right, guys, so now my amazing craft bundle 6 is completely sorted into categories that I can find it. So I want to highlight a couple of things for you guys because several of you guys asked me what I would do if I was running a business and how I would keep track of the licensing, which can be really confusing as to whether or not the file that you've purchased, like in the past or currently, has a commercial license or not. So like I said before, design bundles, everything you buy, fonts and images, has a commercial license. And I know that that can be really, really confusing. So I have a couple of suggestions for ways that you could organize that. So I created a folder for licenses, and I just included the 3 pieces that were in my folder that have the premium license, and then the amazing craft bundle, like little download that they give you. This has like all of the information for some of the pictures. Now, I have found on very rare occasion, sometimes these pictures are not accurate, so be careful relying on these. But they are a good visual to have sometimes if you're browsing through your bundle and you're not sure what you want to use. They are a good visual, or you can delete it. This is the actual license that explains how many times you can use it to be considered small business and blah, 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 blah. And then I don't even know what this is. I don't know what that is. So we'll delete that. But I would keep all the licenses in one folder. So it's up to you if you want to maybe sort these into categories, and then within the categories, maybe you can put the places you got them from. Or, like I said, you can sort them into commercial and personal before you begin to put all these files in there. There's a lot of different ways that you can do it, but I would not store the license with every single file because that's just going to be really, really obnoxious. But whatever works for you, I think, is what you should do. Just make it work for you and turn it into something that you love. So if I was going to keep all of these, you can see that it's kind of off to the side in my amazing craft bundle folder. So if I were you, I would click and drag and select them all, then use Control C to copy. Then I could go back into my SVG folder and I would paste them all. Now, I'm not going to do that because that would mess up my system, but that's what I would do. And then I would start at the top for all your other files, and I would begin dragging them into the categories. So like I said, this is not going to be something that you're going to do quickly, probably all in one day, unless you're pretty new to crafting. So maybe just aim to organize, 20 or 25 files a day or something until you get things organized. But your system is always going to be a work in progress. It's always going to be changing. So before we move on, I want to give you a couple last tips that I think will help you guys. I think I already said this, but I want to make sure that you don't spend the time uploading each and every one of these files into Design Space. Why? Because it's just a big waste of your time. You don't know if you're ever going to use these files, and if you don't have any plans to do it right now, it's just silly to sit there and upload them. So if I were you, I would use your computer's filing system to find what you want and then import each item into Design Space. You can also, if you're struggling with space on your computer, you can also plug in an external hard drive and you can store all your files on an external hard drive. You can use your Google Drive to organize all of these, or your Dropbox account. So it just totally depends on you guys and really what your preferences are as to how you organize them. My preference is to do categories and then subcategories because I think that makes the most sense. So I hope that helps you guys give some organization to your files, and I hope that you spend some of this downtime, especially if you're feeling really uninspired right now, which I know a lot of you are, and it's totally understandable. Life is really crazy, and sometimes it's really hard to create when life is going that way. So this is a great project, like something mundane you could work on. This might be a good project to work on if you're having a hard time sleeping. This might be something that you could sit up and do while you watch TV, or however you want to handle that. So with that being said, let me show you my system. So obviously mine's a little different because look how short it is. But that's because I'm a content creator. So one of the priorities for me is I have to remember where every single file came from, because each time that I post something, I know that my audience, you guys, is going to ask me where I got it from. So that's why I use these initials at the beginning of mine because, like I said, I pretty much get everything from design bundles, Creative Fabrica, and sometimes Etsy. Now, I don't have a lot of files on here because, like I said, I just got this computer in January, so I haven't downloaded a ton on here, but I also don't download everything that I look at. So honestly, when I go to sort for files, when I'm trying to figure out what I want to do for a project, I honestly go back to the site and I start looking through my purchases. That's how I figure out, what I'm going to be using for my projects. I will go back through my bundles or I'll just scroll back through. I've taken part in so many dollar sales and stuff like that that I just have a lot to sort through. So this is the way that I choose my file in the first place. And then when I decide what I want to use, that's when I download it and categorize it into the other files, or I load it into Design Space or whatever I want to do. So then you'll see that I put it in here, and that just makes it easier for me because I know where I need to go to get the link for all of these because I just have a different angle of looking at my files and looking at my crafts than you guys do. So this is another option if you don't want to store your licenses, if you want to just kind of know based on where you got. If you want to know the licensing based on where you purchased the file from, you can use initials like I do in front of all your files. It also, because it goes in alphabetical order, it also sorts them so that all the files from the same place are together, which does make it easier to look up the license if that's something that you're confused about. So if you have any other questions, please feel free to drop those in the comments for me. I'd be happy to answer any questions. I'm pretty good at organizing things, so if organization is your struggle, let me know and I will do my best to give you more organization tips if that's something that you even care or want to hear about. And if you haven't already, please make sure that you subscribe to DIY Alex and ring the bell next to subscribe. And when you click the bell, you should see a little drop-down menu. Make sure you select all notifications so that you get notified every time that I put out a new video. And if you're participating in the hashtag Craft for the Curve, make sure that you post a screenshot of your organized files with hashtag Craft for the Curve on Facebook or Instagram. We are doing these crafts until April 8th, so you still have a few more days to do that if you decide you want to participate. And using those hashtags does enter you in giveaways from tons of amazing brands, from Plaid, who makes Mod Podge, to Fiskars, to Shop Anti-Tay, to Surebonder, who makes glue guns. There is tons of great brands giving cool stuff away for those of you who participate in Craft for the Curve. So don't forget to like this video, subscribe to DIY Alex, and share it if you think it would help your friends. And don't forget to post your final results with hashtag Craft for the Curve. I'm Alex Vanover, and I hope we can craft again soon.